Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello, how are you? How has your week been? So today I'm doing something I am actually really excited about. I've had this planned for a while and now we're finally doing it. So today we're going to be doing BuzzFeed chooses my TBR for the week. So I'm going to be taking 3 BuzzFeed quizzes to give me a book that I should read, and I'm going to read them. I have a feeling this is going to be good for me because I have a feeling that most of the books that are going to be on these quizzes are going to be more popular books, and I generally am still pretty behind when it comes to like reading popular like book talk and booktube books. So I am very excited about this video. Let's get into it. Okay, take this book pairing quiz to reveal your next romance read. Okay. Which book trope is your favorite? Second chance romance, miscommunication, grumpy sunshine, slow burn, opposites attract. I think opposites attract. I hate miscommunication. Well, maybe grumpy sunshine. But I feel like grumpy sunshine and opposites attract are kind of similar. Grumpy sunshine. Who would you want to be in a relationship with? The captain of the hockey team, a carpentry seller, a successful author, a professional baseball player. We're gonna have to go with hockey team because off-campus boys still have my heart. Where do you want to visit next via book? I don't know. Ooh, Inheritance Games takes place in Connecticut, so we'll say Connecticut because I really want to read that book. How do you feel about romantic interconnected novels? Ooh, yeah. Love them. I enjoy following characters through multiple books. Are you a fan of meet cutes? I could take them or leave them, pretty much, really. Choose a place to read your next novel. In a chair amongst a bunch of books. Yes, please. And choose a treat to snack on during your reading. Well, none of these are particularly, like, snacky foods. We'll go with Croissant. Collide by Bal Khabra. Okay, this is good. I have not read this book, nor have I. I honestly can't figure out if I've heard of this before. Cool, good. First one, a success. It's too early to already give up on those Goodreads goals, so let me recommend you a book. Okay. Which season is your favorite? Fall. I'm such a fall girl. Which TV show do you prefer? Sweet Magnolias. Hey, there's actually one on here that I watched. How would you spend a perfect afternoon? Crocheting something, if I knew how to crochet. But I'm currently not in a very TV mood. Hiking is great. Not something I'd particularly do for like fun. Which film do you prefer? Well, I've never watched any of these. So we're just gonna say The Last Letter from Your Lover. I don't know. I've never watched any of these. Which color is your favorite? I like pink. I'm a pink girl. My favorite song? Oh, Taylor Swift. Duh. Which city do you prefer? Tulsa. What's Tulsa doing on here? New York. Before We Were Strangers by Renee, Carlino. Okay, another book I've never heard of and haven't read, obviously, since I've never heard of it. Well, let's get started. Hello! I have no earthly idea how long it has been since I filmed the intro to this video. I finally started reading Collide. I'm on chapter 8, I think. I don't know. I'm really liking it so far. Honestly, it's currently just giving like everything that the deal gave, which was the first ever hockey romance book that I ever read. You're already seeing quite a few different tropes. I was reading it today at the gym on the treadmill because I have a problem and need to have both a book and loud music playing in my ears in order to be able to focus while I'm on the treadmill. I'm on chapter 8, page 79, which is 19% of the way through the book. I was like audibly laughing and smiling at the gym today, and I probably looked like a loon. Like while I'm running, sweating, red in the face, like laughing at this book that I'm reading. Y'all, I was reading Collide on the treadmill at the gym earlier. I was losing my mind. I was like trying so hard not to giggle out loud, looking like I have voices in my head. Don't be looking at my Christmas pajamas. I told you not to be doing that. I'm only 35% of the way through this book. I can't handle this book. these characters are just so in love with each other already. And I can't handle it. But it really is just the deal in a different font. Anyway, cut to this next clip where I really look like a loon. I wanted y'all to get some real-time reaction of me reading this book. I haven't even read one paragraph. Why is it giving Twilight? He still glistens under the fluorescence. He still glistens under the fluorescence. Does he glitter too? Are you just hanging out in the bathroom? That's a little weird. You might need to get that checked out. Whoa! That was aggressive. Okay, here we are. I finished Collide today. I read 224 pages of it today. That sounds like a lot. Oops. And I loved it. I rated it 4 stars. That could change. That's what I rated it immediately after reading it. We'll sit on it until I finish this video and then like fully decide if that's my real rating. I highlighted so many quotes. I wanted to share some of them with you guys. Oh my gosh, I did not even notice how many quotes I highlighted. She's the human equivalent of an angry swarm of wasps. If I gave you a shovel, would you hit me over the head with it? Depends. Am I getting paid? I love this because like that is an actual conversation like I would have with my friends on a daily basis. Like it's really capturing like the randomness of like college kids and like how they speak to each other. This one needs a little bit of context. So this one, Aiden, the male main character, he's talking to his coach. First, let me give you a little bit of context. So we have our 2 main characters. This is told in dual POV. Our male main character is Aiden. He is the captain of the Dalton University hockey team. And then we have Summer, who she is an aspiring sports psychologist. And they meet because Summer has to do this super big research project for like a sports psychology program that she's trying to get into at Dalton for like post-grad. Her like mentor tells her she has to do it on with the hockey team. Aiden takes the fall for some of his teammates when they get in trouble. So he has to be the one to help Summer like with her big project that she's doing for her application to the sports psychology program she's trying to get into. That is how they meet and like how they have to work together. So in addition to having to work with Summer on her project, Aiden also got community service like as part of his punishment for taking the fall for his teammates. And so now he's talking to his coach and he looks at his coach and goes, have you tried talking to the dean about reducing my community service hours? And the coach looks at him and goes, of course. I asked him at our sleepover after we giggled about our crushes. And I'm just like imagining like the most stony faced man just like giving blank face look like, yeah, at our sleepover. I asked him. Summer takes Aiden and some of his friends on a hike in the woods. And one of them goes, there's a reason we skate on ice, Summer. If I wanted to wear sneakers and walk in the woods, I would be a serial killer. And oh my gosh, just some of the banter between the main characters is just like so cute. So cute. Like she looks at him and goes, this is another thing I can hold over your head to make sure you do what I want. And he looks at her and goes, you don't need to blackmail me to get me to do what you want, Summer. Like, what? And then he says, not talking to you is the worst kind of punishment. Hello? At one point, she looks at him and goes, your psychosis is showing. And he goes, your boring is showing. Oh my gosh. And then my favorite character is Kian. He has the most chaotic energy, but he's like friends with Aiden and Summer separately, but he just has the most chaotic energy. Like he's always opening his mouth to talk when like he should not be talking, but that's just because he's like kind of clueless and like, but he's also has like the greatest sense of humor and like everyone jokes around with him about it, and he has like some of the funniest one-liners. At this point, they're like their rivals are Yale, and they're on their campus because Aiden lost his phone. And so Kian looks at the guys and goes, should I have brought garlic? And they're like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, if it repels vampires, I'm sure it'll work on Yaleys too. Like, these are the types of things that goes through his head. And it's hilarious. Oh. I laugh because this is Summer talking about Aiden. She goes, my bathroom has terrible lighting, but he still glistens under the fluorescence. And all I could think about was Twilight and how Edward sparkles in the sun. I was like, is Aiden a vampire? Eli, a different character. So one of the hockey boys says, as my very hot 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Marple, once said, there are no stupid questions, even if Kian is asking them. And then Dylan, one of the other hockey boys, goes, didn't she quit teaching after our year? And Kian goes, no one can prove it was because of me. And this is the coach talking to Kian. He goes, Ishida, what have I told you about gossiping in the weight room? That it fosters healthy connections among growing boys? Think of it as exposure therapy. Great idea, except you're not my therapist, so it's just torture. Anyways, loved this book. Okay, yesterday I finished Collide, so now it's time to start Before We Were Strangers, which I literally know nothing about, although I did see something the other day where someone got very sad while they were reading this book. So maybe it'll make me cry. I could use it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even a full chapter in, and I'm getting the ick. I'm hoping and praying that there's character development, because this is not it. Okay, it's the next day. I'm clearly not in my own bedroom. I'm in Arizona visiting my family for Easter, but I was reading Before We Were Strangers in the airport today, and my Kindle was telling me that I could have finished this book on the plane, but I was just really not feeling it. Like, I'm thinking that this book might just have too much insta love for me. And like, I thought it was dual timeline, but it's like not really. Like, the first couple chapters were in like the now perspective, but now like all of the rest of the chapters that I've read, and I'm like 35% of the way through the book. Only like the first 10% was in the now perspective. The rest of it has just all been in the then perspective. I did not finish it on the plane. I got to a scene that I just was like not in the mood to try to do any skipping in the book. Like, I'm not enjoying it enough to make the effort to do that. And I just got really annoyed at like what the characters had been talking about immediately before this particular scene. And like, I don't even know if this scene plays out the way that I think it's going to. I mean, I highly doubt that it doesn't, but I'm just like the vibes that this book is giving me right now is like if a high school boy took creative writing in high school and tried to write it in a way that it didn't look like just an excuse to write dirty things, which is not enjoyable for me. So I put the book down on the plane and spent the rest of the time reading the first book in the Princess Diaries series by Meg Cabot. Enjoyed that much more than I enjoyed Before We Were Strangers, than I have been enjoying Before We Were Strangers. I'm gonna give it to 50%. I think I'm like at 35%. If I'm still not feeling it at 50%, I think I'm gonna say sayonara to Before We Were Strangers. We'll see. We gotta give it a fair shot. I really hate books when there's just when their relationship is just like purely physical, like in terms of what the reader sees, because I don't care like what happens like behind the scenes, because I don't get to see any of that. And like, it's one of those things like, I want you to show me, not tell me. Like, I don't want you to tell me that the characters have really gotten to know each other. I want you to show me, like, in the conversations that they are having, that they've really got to know each other. I don't want to just make an assumption. And I'm just like really not sure where it's going. Okay, so it's been a long time since I last updated this video, but I did end up finishing before we were strangers, and I didn't really like it. I am not someone who will just assume that a relationship exists between two characters. I really have to have like evidence of the characters forming and developing that relationship in the story, and this one really just didn't. Like, it would basically kind of just be like, and they were the best of friends, but like never actually really showed them like having a genuine conversation, and that was just frustrating for me. So I didn't really like this book, but I really did enjoy Collide. That one was just like the stereotypical, like what you would expect from like a cheesy college sports romance and like a hockey romance. You know, like girl is super smart and she doesn't really like have a lot of fun until she meets the guy who like makes her have a lot of fun. And like that's the story. Before We Were Strangers, it starts out in a now timeline. There are very few scenes in this book that actually take place in the now timeline. It's not any sort of like back and forth like you would expect from a dual POV or a dual timeline story. And it was dual POV, which made it even more confusing because not only was it dual timeline, but it was dual POV. But just like you really didn't get like to understand the characters that well in their individual stance, in their individual sake. Like in the book, it just like, I really didn't like it. So I would not recommend that book. Like I had to take a break and read a whole entire book before I could finish this one, which I never do. Anyways, that was BuzzFeed choosing my TBR for the week. We had one really good one and one dud. So yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're feeling up to it. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.